Hey, what's going on, guys? Brian Kelly here from Zombie Guitar. Here in this video I want to teach you the CAGED system in under 10 minutes. So this video is going to include the why and the how behind the system. It's also going to include 3 demonstrations showing you specific scenarios in which you could directly apply the system to your playing. So if you feel that I'm moving a bit too quick in this video, or if you feel that I'm leaving out certain details about the system that should be included in the video, that's because I'm trying to just give you just the important details about CAGED, and I'm trying to put it all into a video that's under 10 minutes long. For that reason, I recommend watching my other video on CAGED that's about 45 minutes long. I move a lot slower and I include a lot more details about the system. I will post a link to that below. It's 100% free, and there's 2 versions of that. The one version is a YouTube version. That's for the people that prefer to watch videos from YouTube. The other version is the zombieguitar.com version. If you don't mind leaving YouTube and popping over to my website, zombieguitar.com, I have a zombieguitar.com version. In that version, there's no ads in the videos, and there's also a full written lesson, including all of the fretboard diagrams that are used in the main video. So there's more if you watch it from the website, but if you want to stay on YouTube, there's that option too. Both are 100% free. Both are linked below. Let's get started with this lesson. So the CAGED system is based on 5 movable chord shapes: the C shape, the A shape, the G shape, the E shape, and the D shape. So here's a C major chord in the C shape, here's an A major chord in the A shape, G major chord in the G shape, E major chord in the E shape, D major chord in the D shape. So all of these open chords can be moved further up the neck. So let's take the C major chord in the C shape, rearrange your fingers. Now you have your first finger floating freely. So you can use this as a bar if you want. Say I want to move this shape up 2 frets. So I'll move it up to here, and then I'll take my first finger and I'll put a bar there. So now I'm playing a D major chord in the C shape. So all 5 of these shapes are movable like that. In order to get the most out of this system, you need to know 2 very important details. Number 1, you need to know which string the root of each of these shapes resides on. The root is either going to reside on the low E string, the A string, or the D string within each of these 5 shapes. The second thing you need to know is the intervals. Which note is the 1, which note is the 3, which note is the 5 within each of these shapes. So the C shape and the A shape have their roots on the A string. The G shape and the E shape have their roots on the low E string, and the D shape has its root on the D string. The second thing is understanding where the 1, 3, and the 5 are located within each of these shapes. Alright, so now it's time to put this stuff into practice. So the way this is going to work is I'm going to do 3 demos right in a row. First I'm going to play a demo, then I'm going to give you an explanation about what I did. All 3 demos are going to take place right around this area of the guitar, in between the 8th fret and the 13th fret. That's just an arbitrary spot of the fretboard that I'm choosing. I could play the demos here if I wanted, here, 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 here. I could play this stuff anywhere on the entire neck of the guitar, because that's what the CAGED system allows you to do. Alright, so what I did there in that first demo was I took a simple chord progression that was played mostly in this area using mostly open position chords, using familiar shapes, and then I moved the entire progression up to here. This is my demo area that I'm using for this video. As I said, you can play any chord anywhere on the entire neck of the guitar. You just have to find them using the nearest available CAGED shapes. So let's do that now. Let's find the C chord. So the first step is to find your note C on either the low E string, the A string, or the D string, and then you can find your available shapes that way. So I have a C here on the 8th fret, I have a C here on the 10th fret of the D string, and I don't have any C's on the A string in this area. So anytime I have my root on the low E string, I know that my E shape is available. I also know that my G shape is available, so I could play a C major chord like this in the E shape. I could play a C major chord like this in the G shape. So I have those two available shapes. I also have a C here on the D string. So anytime I have my root on the D string, I know that a D shape is available to me. So here's a C major chord like this. So I don't even usually play the full D shape. I usually just play it like this. So I have all those C chords available to me. The one that I chose to do is either just the E shape or just using the high 4 strings, which is just a portion. So you don't have to play these CAGED shapes in full. You just have to see the available shape and then just play parts of these shapes. Then when I wanted to locate my G major chord, again I have to start with finding my root. So where's a G at? There's a G right there on the 10th fret of the A string. So anytime I have an A string root, I know that I have my C shape available to me. So here's a G major chord in the C shape. Here's a G major chord in the A shape, because C and A shape are available when your root is on the A string. So I chose to play the G major chord in the C shape. I don't really like playing the full C shape though. I just like playing the high 4 strings like this. Alright, so the next chord is an A minor chord. So a minor chord requires one manipulation to a major chord shape. First, find your nearest available A major chord shape. Recognize where your 1, 3, and 5 are within that shape, and then lower the third by 1/2 step so you have a 1, a flat 3, and a 5. That's a minor chord. There's an A right there, 12th fret of the A string, and then there's no A's on the D string in this area. So keeping within this area of the fretboard, I have my A major chord in the C shape. So you don't have to play these full shapes if you don't want to. Let's just play the high 3 strings. So here's an A major chord. So knowing where my intervals are, this is a 5, this is a 1, this is a 3. In order to turn that A major chord into an A minor chord, I just have to lower the third by 1/2 step, so A minor. The next chord is an F major chord. So I'll just go with this one here, 8th fret. I'll play the F major chord in the A shape. And I'll just play the high 3 strings for that. Alright, to find the A flat chord, I have to find the note A flat on either the E, A, or D string. So here's an A flat note right there, 11th fret. So let's go with the C shape. So I'll just play the 4 strings right here. And then I have a B flat 7 chord. Alright, so let's find the B flat major chord shape, starting with finding the note B flat. So here's a B flat right here, 13th fret of the A string. You could play a B flat like this using the C shape. Alright, so I'm just going to play the high 3 strings for this one. In order to make this into a dominant 7th chord, I have to apply the dominant 7th formula. The dominant 7th formula is root 3, 5, flat 7. So I know that anywhere I have a root, one whole step lower than my root is going to be where the flat 7 interval is. So I just have to get this note in there. So I'm just going to play this B flat 7 chord like this. Alright, so what I did there in that second demo was I recognized the fact that most of the chords were in the key of C major, but 2 out-of-key chords were being used. So if everything was 100% in the key of C major, I could just play the C major scale over the entire chord progression, and that would all work. Once it got to the A flat chord and the B flat chord, you have some options. So you can switch your scale up. The C major scale isn't always going to work when you're using out-of-key chords out of the key of C major, so you can try and play a different scale over the A flat and over the B flat, or you can just simply arpeggiate the chords. So over all of the in-key chords, over all the chords that were part of the key of C major, I was noodling in my C major scale. Once I got to the A flat major chord, I just focused on just the notes of the A flat chord. Same thing for the B flat chord. And then the chord progression started back over again, back into the key of C major, so I can noodle in the key of C major again. And then for that third demo, I wasn't thinking scales at all. I wasn't thinking C major scale. I was just thinking chord, 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 chord. I just arpeggiated every single chord. And I did so right in this area. I did so by locating my nearest available CAGED shapes in that specific area. And that's how I did that. So that's 3 potential ways that you could use the CAGED system. I could have done it here, 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 anywhere on the entire neck of the guitar. I just chose to do everything right here. And that's essentially how the CAGED system works. So if this was too fast for you, again, check out the link to the 45-minute version of the CAGED lesson that I did below. And thanks for watching. See you next time.